Also, that world-class soprano who was fired for being overweight, why it may have been a blessing in disguise. She'll share her story in a moment here on American Morning.
Whether she is singing Wagner or Verdi, Deborah Voigt has few rivals on the opera stage. For years, the size of her talent was matched only by her size. Well, now there's a new soprano in town. Meet the woman who faced the fears about her weight to reach new heights.
One of the world's leading sopranos is defying operatic conventional wisdom that big voices must come from big bodies. Deborah Voigt has lost more than 100 pounds after gastric bypass surgery.
I've tried every other diet imaginable, and this sort of seemed like the right thing at the right time.
Voigt struggled with weight as a teenager. She underwent the drastic obesity surgery last June, just weeks after her size became an international issue. She was dropped from a London opera production for being overweight. Now that she's gone public, Voigt says she didn't have the surgery because she was fired.
That's really important for me to get across because this is a very, very serious, very dangerous procedure. And to have it because one set of persons think that you aren't appropriate because of whatever is wrong with you or they think is wrong with you is no reason to have this procedure.
7 weeks after her surgery, Deborah Voigt was back on the stage, hitting the high notes again. This woman in her vocal prime says the gastric bypass was a blessing.
You're very clear. Deborah Voigt joins us this morning. Nice to have you. You're very clear that you didn't have the surgery because of what you call the black dress incident. A director of an opera wanted you in this sort of slinky black dress,
correct,
and it didn't fit. And you say, but having the surgery, the drastic measure, wasn't the reason why you had it done.
No, it really wasn't. I was beginning to have a lot of orthopedic problems. My knees were bothering me, and of course we all know that obesity can lead to all sorts of serious problems, diabetes, hypertension. And
Had you been thinking about it for a while?
I had been thinking about it for 20 years since I first heard about the procedure, but of course it was even more drastic and dangerous that long ago. So now that it has been improved extensively, I thought, well, the timing is right, and I've tried everything else. And I think that's the most important thing, that you try everything before you do something so serious.
As you well know, people die from this surgery. I mean, that's a fact. In your case, though, you must have also had thoughts about, well, what will this do to my voice? I mean, you know, this is your life, your career.
Right.
How did you balance the two of those things?
Well, I knew that carrying around all that extra weight was going to endanger my career and my life as well. And so I had to balance it out and decide which was the better way to go, to stay 100+ pounds overweight or take the risk with the surgery. I was not so concerned about the actual surgery itself because it was done laparoscopically. I was concerned about having a tube put down my throat and to be put to sleep. But the doctors were very much aware of what I do for a living and were very cautious.
New York Times reviewed your performance after the surgery, and they said, essentially, how does she sound now? How does a waif-like version sound? They call you. How does she sound now? Absolutely terrific. How does that feel?
Well, that felt really nice, just to put it mildly. I mean, I feel like I'm very much still in transition. I mean, it hasn't even been a year since I lost the weight, and so I'm still getting used to how my body responds to being lighter and trying to sing on a big operatic stage.
Well, you were back to work, I read, within 7 weeks after your surgery. Right. Were there no side effects, no negative? I mean, it went very smoothly?
I had a lot of trouble with stamina initially, and that passed within maybe 6 months or so. And I certainly have to pay more attention to the way I care for myself now, but in the end, it's all worth it.
The director of the production in London, who sort of, you said it was humiliating to be fired because you're overweight. Do you feel revenge now? I read that you're going to perform Salome, which is the famous dance of the 7 veils.
Right, right.
You couldn't have done that before.
Well, I used to call it the dance of the 77 veils, so I think it's probably more viable for me to do it now.
When that was announced, did you cut it out and send it anonymously to the director back in London?
Tempting though that was. No. I'm just going to let that all go.
How are you feeling now? And what do you think you're going to be doing X number of years down the road? Would you like to lose more weight? Do you feel like you're fine?
Oh yeah, I'd like to. No, I'd like to get another maybe 30 or 40 pounds off. But we'll see. I think my body will probably tell me when it's enough.
It's nice to have you.
Thank
Congratulations on all your amazing success and your good health as well.
Thanks,
Thanks for talking with us this morning. You Hear more of Deborah on her CD. It's called Obsessions, and you can see her, of course, on stage at the Metropolitan Opera. That's here in New York until May 3rd. Bill?
Well done, Deborah. In a moment here, Congress gets a crack at the president's pick to be